Hi again everyone, it's Simon from Mactasia. Last time we had a two-part look at installing and configuring MDT in WDS, and we ended that video by just booting in to MDT via WDS. So what we're doing here, we're going to have a look. You can see where we imported last time our two boot images that we created in MDT. And then our operating system that we imported into MDT. So to deploy this operating system via WDS, we need a task sequence. So I'm going to right click on task sequences, new task sequence. I'm going to give this an ID, just 001, Windows 7, give it a description that you're going to know what it is. So Win7 x64 is the task sequence name, so we can identify it in the workflow. And this is just going to be a standard client task sequence. You can sys prep and capture, and there's different ones, so we'll take a look at those another time, but we're just going to do a standard task sequence there. And then you need to select the operating system that you want to deploy via this task sequence. So we've only got one at the moment. Here you can specify a key. I'm not going to bother. And you're going to set the name and organization here. So we're going to go and leave it just as Windows user, set an organization. So I've got my pretend co domain, so I'll leave it as pretend co. And you can also set a home page as well, so you could set your company's intranet or Google or their website. So I'll set mactasia.co.uk. And then we're going to set a local administrator password. So this will be for the local administrator on the restored image. Okay, next, and that's pretty quick. Finish, and then in there you can see we've got our task sequence. So you're going to right click on your deployment and update the deployment share as usual. When you make any large changes, you want to update the deployment share. You're going to finish. And then we're going to go into our client and we're going to boot our client and we're going to pixie boot it via WDS and restore our MDT workflow and image. So F12. And then it will search the DHCP, looks, found our WDS server. So F12 is booting into that WDS server. And we imported the 32-bit and the 64-bit. I want to restore a 64-bit operating system, so I'm going to select the x64 boot image. And you see the IP along the bottom there, 10.0.0.6, that's my MDT server. And you can see there it's booting the boot image x64 images lighttouch PE underscore x64.wim, which is the image that we imported into WDS that we created in MDT. Okay, so slowly we're booting into MDT. So we're going to click Run the Deployment Wizard to install a new operating system. And it can take a few minutes just to search your MDT server for the relevant parts. But it's going to ask you to authenticate. You can predetermine this in a part of MDT, but we'll do that another time. Look at that. I mean, I would always leave it to authenticate and set your domain as well, so pretendco.test, because you don't want anybody to accidentally pixie boot and then start restoring things they don't understand. So that's just a level of protection there. Okay, so you see our sequence that we created, our task sequence, Win7x64. Click Next. There's an opportunity to name the computer now, so I'm just going to call it MDT-test. You could join a domain, absolutely. So I'm going to join mine to the domain, pretendco.test, or you could just, if you haven't got a domain or you want to do a domain later on and join a workflow. So the OU, I'm going to put it straight into the computer's OU. So I don't want to restore any user data and settings because I don't have an operating system on this virtual machine anyway. And then I'm going to set my time and currency and keyboard layout accordingly, and my time zone. Okay, and it's ready. So you're going to click begin. So it'll take a bit of time, so I'm going to speed this up. Would typically take maybe 15-20 minutes to restore an operating system depending on your network setup. Okay, so the VM's now rebooting. Okay, so we can see it's now going through the process of running Windows for the first time. Okay, so I think we're almost there. It's going to reboot again. Hopefully means we're on the home straight now. See, this is just a virtual machine. If you're doing it on a physical machine, you might have additional drivers and things, depending on what you've imported into MDT, because of course you can automate all of your drivers to be installed as part of the MDT. We'll look at that in another screencast. It's a very simple process and makes restoring physical machines very, very easy. Okay, so I'll speed this up just because the first login took a lot of time and I haven't got a lot of memory allocated to this virtual machine client. Okay, and there you have it, the Windows desktop. You're going to get this last bit of installation progress. And then once it's complete, it's going to pop up and tell you it's complete, and hopefully with no errors and no warnings. Perfect, you can click finish and your desktop's ready to go. So I hope you found that useful, and if there's any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section below and hopefully I can help out. Ciao for now.